Hi, I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Stephen Bowers. We've got a storm system in our sights, and we've been watching this since late last week. Now, if you checked in with me on Monday night, you probably heard me say, hopefully you heard me say, that there may be a shift in timing coming from our data, and that certainly appears to be the case. In fact, it's a little bit more solid here on Tuesday than it was even on Monday. So our storm system, it stretches from the coast of British Columbia all the way out into the Pacific Ocean. There's another little wave of clouds out ahead of it. We'll deal with that on our Wednesday, but the storm system that we're tracking is still way out there over the Pacific Ocean. And this is really reflected in the upper level energy. You see that big batch of red way out there over the Pacific Ocean. That is going to be dipping south. It kind of stretches south out over the Pacific Ocean on Wednesday and into Thursday. And by Thursday, late in the day, it's approaching the northern coast of California and still extends offshore, well offshore of the southern California coast. You can see the black lines there. See how they close off? That's a closed upper level low pressure circulation with a trough of low pressure that kind of envelops it and especially dips to the south of it. Now this will continue inland through Friday, and it looks like it kind of pinches off and becomes that upper level low pressure circulation and then tracks from Southern California to Arizona through Sunday and Monday. But this latest update actually lifts this out of Arizona and right across the top of Colorado. So in addition to the timing, this is a little bit of a track change in this forecast that could mean a little bit more of an impact for us here. But it's a delayed impact compared to where we've been these past couple of nights. This is Thursday night at midnight, going into Friday morning. And you know what? Now it looks completely dry on Friday, and it looks completely dry into Saturday. There's 5 a.m. Saturday. We go on through the day. It doesn't look like we get a whole lot of anything. There's 5 p.m. But we do see action picking up over Southern California, Southern Nevada, and into Arizona. That's heading our way, and it starts to pick up on Sunday. There's 5 a.m. This, by the way, is the European computer model, and we're going to show you the American GFS model here in just a minute. But as early as 5 a.m., we start to see some spotty areas of what's probably rain to start off, and then we start to see that snow focused here on the San Juans as we get into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Perhaps even a little bit of snow comes up into the Elk Mountains and even up toward the Gore Range, the Sawatch Range, and the Mosquito Range in the central part of the state, while we're getting socked with rain here on the western slope. Keep on going through the night, and we see that this lingers through Monday. And I'll tell you, the European model is a little bit more prolonged with this into Monday. The American model, the GFS, that I'll show you here in a minute, doesn't look as rambunctious for Monday, but it does look like this is on its way out by Monday night at the latest. Of course, there can be some more shifting in the timing, and as long as this is still offshore, we're kind of getting estimates of data rather than we're actually measuring this, because we just don't have it in range of the weather balloon network here in the United States that's over land. So there can be some more shifting as long as this does stay offshore. Now, based on this forecast from the European model, we do get some snow over the mountains especially, probably more limited snow in the valleys, maybe a little slush to kind of finish things off right before it comes to an end early Monday for us in the valleys, but I don't expect any significant accumulation. In fact, it's more likely to melt than to accumulate. Now, this latest run from the European model still shows 1 to 4 inches over the Elks. You'll see a little bit more than that on the GFS model here in just a minute. The San Juans, though, get the biggest amounts with still easily 6 to 10 inches. There may be some localized cases of more like a foot of snow in the San Juans. And in the central and northern mountains, this looks like maybe not a big deal for Metro Denver and into the foothills over by Evergreen, but still 1 to 4 inches can fall up along the Continental Divide close to Georgetown, Winter Park, and Fairplay, and extending back toward areas like Steamboat Springs and even down toward Leadville and Vail. So now let's check out the American model. This is the GFS. It still shows us a very quiet Thursday night through Friday, and Friday into Friday afternoon sees some cloud cover for sure, and that even holds true into Saturday. There's 5 p.m. on Saturday. The GFS model is a little bit faster with this and still doesn't bring it in, though, until probably Sunday morning. We see the snow holding off while rain starts to pick up in the valleys. The snow's more in the San Juans, but it extends up into the central and northern mountains by Sunday evening. The pink that we see around Grand Junction extending down along the state line, that correlates to perhaps a mix of rain and snow. It may even be that this is more leaning toward a cold rain, or maybe leaning toward a slushy snow. Now, I'll tell you, I've been going through the upper air forecast data for this same time frame, and this just doesn't look like snow for us in the valleys. It looks like rain, and that's likely to persist, but maybe after midnight and into early Monday morning, we may get a little bit of that slush in the valleys, slushy, wet snow that melts when it falls. But look at Monday morning. there still is some lingering snow. So there's kind of a solid idea that that may be happening, and that's true from both the GFS model and the European model. So expect a little bit of a tricky travel situation from the western slope to the Front Range, but the GFS does show some improving conditions by Monday afternoon and certainly by Monday evening. Now, the GFS is a little bit higher on these snowfall amounts, with maybe up to an inch in the valleys. That's, again, if anything falls at all, but say 4 to 6 inches in most areas of the Elk Mountains and back to the Grand Mesa, maybe 2 to 4. So some local variation is there up around Aspen, it's noted especially. Then you get to the San Juans, and again, higher amounts are still noted here with a good 6 to 12 inch blanket of snow through Sunday and Monday especially. And then most areas of the central and northern mountains still don't get any more than about 1 to 4 inches. Maybe it gets a little higher up along the Park Mountains and the Flat Tops, and then certainly up around Steamboat Springs as well. So we still have a storm system on the way. It's just that things are changing in terms of its exact track, which can change the exact impact. And of course, the timing is probably the biggest and most notable shift that we have in this forecast update. We'll continue to monitor this for you between now and this weekend, and of course, as long as it's offshore, as I said a little earlier, there can still be some changes. So make sure you're staying up to date on things. Don't take this as the final word, and we won't either, and we'll continue to keep you up to date on things as things kind of progress here over the next week or so.